Welcome to this week's Down Home with Tina. I have got a couple of great guests. The first one is Amanda Everitt. She is the president of Friends of the Parks, and she has been on the show in the past, but my second guest has never been here before, and I'm so excited to welcome Mayor David Scheffler. He and I are going to just talk about some of the things that are going on in the city of Lancaster, as well as you can see, Beggars Night. So folks, don't go anywhere. Fun show coming up. And I'm also going to share a little bit at the end about some safety tips on Beggars Night and, of course, end it with a positive quote. I'll be back in a minute. It's Down Home with Tina.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be, and we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff, and we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I have got Amanda Everitt with me. Most of you know her from so many different things going on with Destination Downtown Lancaster, but Amanda, you are so very involved with other projects and things in the community, and this is one that is a huge one. And I did hear on social media just recently that you had done a video, and somebody was like, she is so great with what she does with Friends of the Park. So I'm just excited to have you because this is something very, very important for the Lancaster Parks and Recreation coming up on the ballot on November 2nd. So what is Friends of the Park?
Friends of the Parks is a 501c3 volunteer organization, and we're basically the philanthropic arm for the Lancaster City Parks. They're a city government entity, and so they don't have the ability to go out and fundraise and use their time and efforts to raise money. And so we create that philanthropic opportunity for people that love the parks, and there are so many of folks that love the parks, so that they can invest in special projects and make sure that we have a strong, resilient park system that can continue and leave a legacy for our children.
Now, I know I said ballot, and I know that's what we're here to talk about, and I don't want to scare anybody off, but there's one big question that I have out of all of this. It was back in, springtime that I saw something up on billboards, and I think that some folks in the community are really confused because it said, vote for parks, I believe.
You're absolutely right. There was an issue on the ballot in the spring, and there were a lot of green and yellow signs out that said vote yes for city parks, and those were our friends over at the Fairfield County Park System.
Completely different.
Completely separate park system. So Friends of the Parks, again, is the supporter of the Lancaster City Parks program. And a lot of people get confused about that.
Yes.
And we don't make it any easier because we do have some fantastic parks, Lancaster City Parks, that actually exist outside of the city of Lancaster. Think of Alley Park. That's probably the biggest one. You know, all of those miles of maintained hiking trails, that beautiful lodge, all of those wonderful events that happen out there, like the pumpkin hike, Santa at the park, all those fantastic free events, Frontier Spirit, but that's actually a Lancaster City Park and fully funded by the Lancaster City Parks.
And there are so many different parks. How many parks are there?
Oh my gosh.
It's 20-some.
I know no, there are actually 32 different parks.
32 now.
And over 830 acres of park acreage. 830 acres. That's a lot to maintain.
Yes.
And I think I didn't even know that until we started this process. And I think that folks that might not have even been as aware of their beautiful Lancaster City Parks are more aware now than ever because of the pandemic.
Yes, yes.
When we were not allowed to be inside with our loved ones and our friends and our families, we needed those outdoor spaces to be able to safely gather with the people that we cared about and stay physically healthy. You know, we could exercise and use outdoor spaces when the gyms were closed down.
Yes.
We could meet, you know, at these parks and go hiking with our friends and family.
Yeah, keep that social distancing and still
yes.
be able to be together, though you couldn't be together.
And so for my mental health as well as my physical health, I know that it was so incredibly important. And I was able to connect with so many citizens throughout the community that I otherwise would not have seen. But we saw each other at the parks.
Because you're able to. So what is it exactly that's coming up on the ballot?
So what we have right now is a continuing levy for our Lancaster City Park system. So please head to the ballot, head to your election site on November 2nd, and we are asking for a 0.1% increase. We haven't had an increase. This blows my mind, and I know that it blows your mind too, in 30 years. So we have added all of these incredible park spaces. We have things like the all-accessible park at Hunter Park, where the elderly, folks with disabilities, they can access these great quality play spaces as they should be able to. That has been a wonderful new addition. We've got a new dog park down at Miller Park, which if you love animals, like I do, that is incredibly important to have those spaces for our four-legged friends as well.
And Tiki and Miller Pool are also part of these parks as well.
Tiki and we have 2 swimming pools that we support, and almost 10 miles of bike trail as well. So we have all of these fantastic spaces, and it's time. If we're going to continue to maintain these, and to be perfectly honest, maintain them in a much better way. When we think about Miller Pool is about to turn 100 years old.
And if you've not been there, it does need
2023. It needs a little TLC.
Inside.
But when you're functioning on this limited budget year after year, it's really challenging. Yeah. And so we want to be able to bring some things forth to the community that they've told us through surveys that they want, like a splash pad. So, and more dog parks in neighborhoods, throughout the community. As well as increased accessibility like we did at Hunter Park.
Yeah.
When we think about, I don't know if anybody's driven up through Rising Park, but I like to make people drive up all the way back to the shelter house. And if you still got all your teeth, if they haven't rattled out through all of the potholes, then we can talk about why we need this levy.
Amanda, you said continuing levy.
Yes.
Some people are like permanent.
Right.
It's a difference.
So it can always be rescinded, right? The people always have that power. But what this means is we don't have to use our valuable resources through Friends of the Parks because we don't use any city funding to go to the ballot for this. And so what this means is that we're not going to be coming back every 5 years, which is what we have been doing every 5 years to keep it, to have it renewed.
And it's expensive in itself from the Friends of the Park, which it could be funds that can go towards other things.
It's a really exciting time to be on the board of the Friends of the Parks because this is our number one mission, is to make sure that we're able to pass this levy so that our parks can continue. Yeah. And so
can it give you another focus though?
It can, and so we're in a space where if this is able to happen, now we can reimagine. We get hundreds of thousands of dollars from donors for special projects, and also just from our incredibly generous members of Friends of the Park. So for those of you watching today, thank you. This wouldn't be able to happen without you. But then what does that look like? We have so much programming. So much of that programming is free for kids.
Bugs at Alley Park is one of them, right?
When we got here, I said, I feel like this is a perfect theme for the parks because there's bug camp and all kinds of great things. And you keep wearing that. And Trina from Alley Park is going to come and make you teach a class.
The bug park.
Yes, and she's going to make you wear that outfit.
That's so funny, Amanda.
But we have camps. Friends of the Parks has funded scholarships for for those summer camps at Alley Park, pool passes at Miller and Tiki Pool for that underserved population. And we want to make sure that everybody gets access to these parks and gets to enjoy all of the wonderful programming. So it's neat to think about what we're going to be able to do.
And you said everybody, and I think that's a great segue into talking about Hunter Park is for the disability, the wheelchairs, kind of
Hunter Park is
disability
for
at all.
everybody.
It's for yes, it's for the elderly if they have, it's just, that's one. And then you do things for the Veterans Park in downtown. You give back to the veterans. I know Eagle Scouts have done projects that have the parks work with them. It is all ages. I don't know why I keep getting goosebumps just talking about this, because I think that those folks who have never taken that time to go out and actually get to enjoy it, they're missing out.
It's a beautiful, and it's so diverse, the different park systems that we have. When we think about Tiki and Miller Pool, when we think about the beauty of Alley Park and that gorgeous lodge and the programming that happens there with the Goslin Nature Center and the preschoolers in the park and the miles of hiking trail.
Oh, yeah.
But then when you think about downtown, which of course I'm always thinking about downtown, but I don't know that a lot of folks realize Fountain Square is a Lancaster City Park. Veterans Park is a Lancaster City Park that is lovingly maintained. And so when those events occur and are hosted, it's fantastic because the Parks is really honored to be able to do that and honor our veterans. And I think it's incredible how it spans so many different things.
And you know what? This is something I didn't even think about. Do you know how many homecomings, proms, senior pictures, if those parks are not maintained in those buildings, those pictures that are and those memories for these for people for years and years and years would not have been there to be a part of that milestone in their life of whatever it may be. Graduation, weddings,
absolutely,
and all of it.
So many public events are able to be held for free in those different parks. I mean, we were just talking about like the shelter houses that are completely free to use. So there are so many accessible spaces. We want to create more access, make our parks more accessible to those that don't want to have their teeth rattled out. It might be a little bit dangerous walking to the top. So there are a lot of different things that are going to be able to be achieved if our voters go and say we love our parks and we deserve more. We want to invest more, and we're willing to say yes for our city parks.
And I'm sure it's just like any of the other levies. It's on the ballot. You have to look for it and read it. It just doesn't have a name called anymore of the Lancaster City Parks.
Right.
You've got to see the information.
I should know what the issue is. Yes, but I wish I knew what the issue number was, but I don't know it offhand.
November 2nd. If anybody does have any questions about what we've discussed today, what is your contact information, Amanda?
If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today or anything else with the parks, give me a call at 740-277-6607, or you can reach me at amanda@destinationdowntownlancaster.com, or you can reach out to Bob Lovell, who is my fabulous campaign co-chair. And just there, we do have a website, Yes for Lancaster Parks. So if you have a look there, you can get our contact information. We'd be happy to chat with you about any of your questions.
And that is on November 2nd.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. I'm going to be back. We're going to talk about Beggars Night, trick or treat, whatever you want to call it. You're watching Down Home with Tina.
Life is unpredictable. That's why estate planning is important. Estate planning provides you comfort and peace of mind knowing that you're taking care of your loved ones and ensuring your legacy lives on just as you envisioned. You lived a life that is beautifully and uniquely yours. You deserve an estate planning attorney who understands that and creates a plan as unique as you and in the best interest of your loved ones. You deserve the local, trusted, experienced attorneys at Dagger Law.
Welcome back. It's Down Home with Tina. I have Mayor David Scheffler with me. It is the very first time that I have had you and had the honors to have you on the Down Home with Tina show.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and hopefully we don't get interrupted by my phone ringing every 30 seconds.
You are a very, very busy guy, so I appreciate you taking the time just to be with me and talk about, things that are going on in the city. So what's it been like so far in the seat as mayor of the city of Lancaster?
Well, it's fun. It's I have to say it's my favorite job.
Awesome.
After a long career in business, it's an opportunity to make a difference in the community. So it's enjoyable. It's never a dull moment. Some days you wish it were a little more dull. There were a couple of days this week that hit that mark. But I've got 2 years, 2 months to go before my term is up, and I'm not running again because I'll be 75 years old, and that's long enough to be working, and my wife would really enjoy some retirement years.
Aww.
I was happily retired for 5 years at one time until I got talked into this job. So.
Well, Mayor Scheffler, you said that you enjoy it, and it's something that when I see you at Friday night bandstands, which is also something I talked to Amanda earlier, part of the Lancaster Parks and Recreation, that you and the First Lady of the City of Lancaster always have a smile on your face. So, and that says something. I think that says a lot.
Well, I tell you, every time I go down to Friday night bandstand and I look around and I say, I can't believe this is in Lancaster. It's huge crowds. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to say, we do this here every Friday night. And I've had occasion to say that to some visitors in town that saw it. And it's like, oh, this is really great. I said, we do this every Friday night.
We wish,
Don't
right?
you do it in your town?
Oh, we totally wish. So that is something fun that I know that you get to do in the city of Lancaster. What are some of the things that are going on in the city of Lancaster that people are always asking or talking about?
Well, certainly economic development is going on. The recent Google announcement has been the culmination of a lot of effort. And that will continue. And what people don't know about those things is we worked in very strict secrecy with Google for well over a year. Mm-hmm. And we had a great team of people. In fact, we just met with 7 executives from Google, and they were very complimentary of our people and certainly our engineering staff, because that's a lot of what they need in the way of information about water, sewer, electricity, all those infrastructure things, the building permits and the process for going through that. In fact, they said every city advertises that they're a one-stop shop, but Lancaster is a one-stop shop.
Nice.
Yeah, they said typically you go in, you say, I need to know about this. And they said, well, that's the building 6 blocks down the street. You need to go down there and talk to them. But, I said this not long after I was elected, that everybody has their idea of a government employee and how, they don't work hard, they don't do much. And I was... I don't know why I was surprised, but I have to say I was surprised to learn how hardworking, competent, resourceful that Lancaster employees are. And hey, we got a great team.
Nice.
And they're great to work with, and you ask for something and you get it.
Yeah, wow,
so
you can't
no
beat
foot
that.
dragging, no, I can't do that today, you get it.
So there's always, I know, people talking about Edie Road and 6th Avenue. So what can you share with that?
Well, I think when we announced Edie Road, we said it would be finished in November. Mm-hmm. And it will be finished in November.
Perfect.
We're down to the last, I think, 100 feet. And everybody looks at it and says, well, most of it is done. What's wrong with that other end? Well, the poles that hold the traffic signals were in the middle of what is going to be roads. So we couldn't finish that last section close to Memorial Drive until the new poles and mast arms got here, and everybody knows about supply chain issues.
Yep.
And we were afraid that we wouldn't get them for another couple of months, and fortunately they came in. The new poles and mast arms are up, the new signals are operational. The former poles are out of the ground, so they can finish that last 100 feet or whatever it is. So it will be done in November.
Yay! Celebrate.
Maybe Mitch Nolan will kill me, but maybe even early November. But,
oh no!
But don't plan on driving on it until
yeah.
the signs are down. 6th Avenue. Gee, that's been a long and very expensive project. I drove through there this morning. They are laying blacktop, and the weather hasn't helped a lot here for the last few days, but they're spreading blacktop. We did encounter an issue when they milled the deck on the bridge right by the Y.
Mm-hmm.
They discovered some issues with the underlying concrete, which have to be fixed, which is expensive, and hopefully we'll be able to reopen 6th Avenue by the time this airs.
I have a friend of mine who I graduated with who is on the street department. And some of the stories that I've heard is an employee for the street department. And I'm just saying this as having a friend that is employed with the city of Lancaster. Please be careful when you see construction and things that are going on with our streets.
Yes.
There are men in some of those manholes down there. And some of them are so close to the road that I think to myself, I would not do that job in a million years.
Yeah,
so
right.
I want to, kudos to them that are, I say, brave enough and willing to get out there and to do the things that they do out on our streets.
No question.
Yeah. So what else is happening?
What else is happening? Well, we passed the income tax increase last year, and we were way down in strength in police and fire because of budget issues. We were down in the high 50s in both, when full strength would have been 70 to 72. In the fire, we have been able to recruit, and we're back up to, I believe, 74 now, and we're shooting for 84, because one of the things we want to do is to put the 4th staffed medic on the street, and that takes 84 firefighters, because it takes 12 paramedics to staff a squad. Police, we're still in the 50s. Unfortunately, nobody wants to be a policeman these days. And we've had a lot of early retirements because of all the national publicity and the negative publicity about policing in general. Now, our citizens are very supportive of our police.
Yes,
we have no issues here. But still, the national mood about police has an impact, especially on the older guys that have been here 25 or 30 years, and they're like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be part of this. And we're having trouble. We don't have any applicants. We get a few, and it's a long vetting process to be a policeman or a fireman. It takes about 6 months. Once you have to take the civil service test, then there's a whole series of evaluations you have to go through: a psychological evaluation, a polygraph test, physical fitness, a regular physical, drug screening, all those kinds of things. So it's a long process. An interview in the police case, there's a panel of police officers that interview them to make sure that they're compatible with the department and all that. So it's a long process, and if anybody knows anyone that wants to be a police officer or themselves want to be, don't hesitate to apply.
Because you do ride-alongs.
Yes.
You're able to do a ride-along to get an
absolutely.
idea of what it is about and what Lancaster
ride-along.
is about, and you get a really full idea of exactly what it's like with the city of Lancaster. But we've only got a couple of minutes, and I'm here for a reason. Dressed like this. Well, yeah, obviously I'm here for a reason. I'm here to have a conversation with you about things. But I'm dressed like this for a reason. Beggars Night is this week. So it is, 6 to 7:30 on Thursday?
It is 6 to 7:30, and I'll start out by saying thank you for not making me wear that costume.
That was really funny, though. It's family friendly.
Yeah,
I call this a family friendly costume.
I kind of stepped back when I walked into this room. It's like, what's that?
Amanda and I were talking earlier before we even got started that there are not very many family friendly women costumes, and this one I have got one, and I was just so excited about it because I'm like, yay, and it's show friendly. I said it's show friendly as well.
But 6 to 7:30 on Thursday. Please be careful when you're out driving. It'll be dark. Hopefully the weather will be nice and sunny, although every year on Beggars Night there's forecast storms and tornadoes and everything, and we start getting calls first thing in the morning. You got to change trick or treat. You got to change trick or no, we're not changing trick or treat.
Why Thursday though? Why Thursday?
It's
Real
on
briefly.
Thursday because it's typically on October 31st, except when it falls on a weekend. It's on the prior Thursday, and that is the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission guidelines for trick-or-treat. Every community that's a member of MORPC, which are over 70, follow those guidelines. So everybody in Central Ohio should be on the same schedule.
So this year, the 31st is on a Saturday. Next year, I think, depending on what it could be on a Sunday or Monday.
I think
I'm
it's
not
on
quite sure
Monday next year.
It might be, yeah. I'd have to look to see if it's
I think I look and it's on
however
Monday.
it is.
So trick-or-treat will be on Monday next year.
Perfect. Mayor Scheffler, how can people follow you with the Facebook page? You have a City of Lancaster Facebook page.
Mayor David Scheffler, yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And thank you for you. And folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm going to talk about Beggars Night. It's Downtown with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Downtown with Tina is brought to you by these wonderful sponsors, and I want to thank you so much for sharing on social media the show from time to time. It is on Facebook, Downtown with Tina, also on Spectrum, Channel 1021, CLN Your Hometown Connection on YouTube, and folks, you can always go to my website just to see a little more about who I am and things like that, or just watch the show because I think that gives you a really great idea of who I am. And this right here is who I am. I like to dress up from time to time just to have a little bit of fun. Beggars Night is this week, and it lands on Thursday. And a couple of things. I know in years past, I had interviews with, he was the Community Services and Dare Officer, Jim Marshall. He is not anymore in that role, but we would just talk about, some safety things when it comes to Beggars Night. Some really, really huge things. I know that the leaves this year that are not too bad quite yet. They're going to be getting worse and worse, but just make sure you have different sticks and things like that, large things that kids I should say parents, make sure your kids walk on sidewalks instead of through the yards. That's an important thing. If you have your dog, make sure that you keep your dog in another room if you are handing out candy from the door. What are some of the other things? If you want, make sure to put reflective tape if it's starting to get darker out, which it does by 7:30 because it's 6 to 7:30 and then in the city of Lancaster, to make sure you can see the kids, and don't, any of those big long things that you throw and hit and things like that, like swords and knives, plastic ones, of course. Just be careful with all of that stuff. And I don't want to go without leaving you a positive quote. I know earlier in the show, folks, I had talked about the Friends of the Parks and the levy that's coming up. Something that's very, very important is my grandmother had 24 grandchildren, and she had, I don't even know how many at her passing, which was about 29 years ago. The things that I remember the most with her is the memories. She didn't have something to give each and every one of us, but memories are so very, very important in one's life. I know that nobody can take away the memories that I've had with her. So when it comes to parks, get out there and do something with your grandkids or your kids, because memories are something that will be with them forever. Folks, thank you so much for watching the Down Home with Tina show. I hope you have a great week. God bless, good day, and I'm out of here.